something visual. So you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table.
You motherfucking tube. It's your boy Rollo Jenkins. Man, I just wanted to touch on something real quick because I haven't been making videos a lot lately, but I just needed to touch on this, man. A lot of different subjects came up, and lately in boxing, and a discussion actually with my niece. She's 18, 19 years old. She's in college. She's a tomboy. She watches a lot of basketball. She plays basketball. She used to do karate. So it's not the typical conversation that you would have with a girl, but she is still a girl. You know what I'm saying? She is still a girl. So the thing I want to talk about is simplicity. Simplicity sometimes is good, I think a lot of times we make a lot of shit complicated just for the sake of trying to sound intelligent, sound sophisticated, sound, like you are better, or you have a better knowledge or a greater knowledge or a better understanding of something than somebody else. But for the most part, everything we do should be simple. And let me give you a prime example, man. That this statement applies to all things in general. Now, I got a job. It's not the best job in the world. It's not some shit that I'd be like, be trying to hurry up and help somebody. Hey, man, you should come fill out an application at my job. But something happened recently that made my job take a turn for the worse. I got bumped to midnights. Some of y'all might be saying, it ain't the worst thing in the world, right? It's not terrible, right? Could be worse things. You could have just got fucking bumped off the fucking job altogether. But the thing that's fucked up is working these midnights and working this schedule. I'm missing a lot of shit that, that I cared about doing, which makes the job not even worth having, despite whatever the benefits and other shit could be of the job. At some point in time, you have to weigh the balances of your priorities. What's important? What are you willing to sacrifice to get whatever it is that you're getting? You know what I'm saying? Is the benefits of the job, am I making enough money that I would sacrifice doing the shit that I usually do or the shit that I like to do? I guess that's the same thing you would do if you were weighing up a relationship. Is the sex good enough for me to deal with this bitch's attitude? Does she bring enough to the table for me to put up with her badass kids or whatever your situation might be? In boxing, we make the complicated shit complicated just to justify the shit that's really already simple. In boxing, it's really about who the fuck is beating up who. So we pull in all these other extra ingredients and shit in boxing just to try and justify why somebody else may have some value over somebody else. Boxing used to be simple. If you want to fight and another motherfucker want to fight, you two motherfuckers fought each other to see who was the best. Another thing that used to happen was you beat somebody's ass, you won the fight. If you didn't beat their ass, you didn't win the fight. Now we come with all this slick boxer term and being slick and a boxer. What the fuck is a boxer? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it only applies in boxing. Like, in basketball, you don't say that Shaquille O'Neal is not a basketball player, but Kobe Bryant is. It was just a different style of a player, you know? One was just as important and effective as the other, correct? Now, if you had Kobe and Shaq one-on-one on the court, you'd be like, nah, ain't no way in the world Shaq gonna be able to stay in front of Kobe. He can't check Kobe. But on the same flip side, you get Shaq the ball, let him back Kobe down. Is Kobe gonna be able to check Shaq? Nah. So it's two different types of fucking players who are effective in their own ways. But that's why you have different styles of players. One is not a basketball player and the other one is. But in boxing, we call one a boxer and one a brawler. But we say that one style is better than the other. But one style, motherfuckers get beat up, and the other style, motherfuckers don't get beat up. How the fuck that work? So, in the Chris Algieri, Ruslan Provatnikov fight, I seen a lot of people say that Ruslan Provatnikov won. Then I also see people say that there's no way in the world that Ruslan Provatnikov could have won. Then I heard people say that they could see it going either way. But see, that's the thing. Like, the only reason that shit comes up because we making boxing more complicated than what it really is. If you ain't beating somebody up, how the fuck do you win a fight? And see, this is the thing. People gonna say, well, it's boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's boxing. Whether you fucking or making love, the objective is to make your partner come. So whether you're boxing or you fighting, the objective is to beat the motherfucker up. And if you're not beating the motherfucker up, you ain't really doing a good job. So whether you just fucking knocking boots or you making love, if the girl you making love to ain't coming, you really ain't getting the job done, right? So my thing is this. When you get in the boxing ring, your objective is to lay the motherfucker in front of you out. And maybe you ain't got the punching power to lay his ass out. That don't mean that you ain't supposed to fight the motherfucker like you ain't trying to lay him out. That's some bullshit. We making something so simple, one of the simplest things that we have, complicated. Boxing is fighting. No matter how you try and break that shit up, tear that shit down, you want to break down the ingredients like a cake, don't matter. It's still fighting. The object of the sport is to beat some ass. And no matter what style of boxer you are, or fighter or brawler, in-fighter, outboxer, swarmer, your objective is to beat the other motherfucker up, not be in the ring playing tag. So this brings me to my main point of the discussion. What is ring generalship? Because I've always brought up in previous videos about scoring, how we score fights, how I can see some shit different than you see it, or why I see it different than you may see it. And the fact that just because a fight is scored wide, just because a fighter wins a fight 108 to 118, you think he beat his ass. It was a landslide. No, that still could have been a close fight. But we think of it as relative in all other sports. So let's say, for instance, If, let's take basketball for instance. If the Spurs scored 25 points in the first quarter and the Miami Heat scored 24 points in the first quarter, you're going to say that was a close quarter, right? If the Miami Heat score 50 in the second quarter and 25 for the Spurs in the second quarter, you're going to say the Spurs got blew out in that quarter, right? And at halftime, the Spurs are going to be down big time. But in boxing, that's an even fight. You know what I'm saying? So it's relative and not relative to other sports. You have to think of it in boxing terms. You have to think of it as a dude losing every round, like losing by 1 point in a quarter in basketball. That's a close quarter or close basketball game, but it don't necessarily mean a close fight, or it don't seem like a close fight in boxing. But the way boxing is scored, it still can be a close fight, even if you have a motherfucker being shut out for 8 rounds, you know? So when it comes to ring generalship, what is ring generalship? Is it the dude who's picking up his feet, using all inches of the ring? Is it the dude who takes a step back when his opponent takes a step forward? Is it the dude who's trying to use angles, or who so-called dictates the fight? How do you consider what ring generalship is? When I consider generalship, it means who's the boss, who's in control of what's happening. And moving around the ring to me don't mean or show being in control. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a believer of this. Hitting a target that's moving toward you, right at you, is always going to be easier to hit a target that's moving away from you. On any level. If you playing dodgeball, if you got a gun, you playing bumper cars, you playing tag, I don't give a fuck what it is. If it's an object that's coming at you, it's going to be a lot easier to touch that object than it is going to touch an object that's moving away from you. So just imagine if we had a fight where 2 motherfuckers was trying to move away from each other. How in the fuck would that go? What type of fight would that look like? Me, myself, I always have to lean toward the guy who's trying to initiate the contact, because that's the whole purpose of the fucking fight. You want to make contact. You want to initiate contact with the motherfucker you in the ring with. So how do I give credit to the motherfucker who's trying to not engage in a fight where the purpose is to engage? So I just want to know, how the fuck do y'all, how do you gauge, estimate, or consider what ring generalship is? Because I've heard a wide array of things. Like, you think it's crazy just trying to get some people's idea on scoring. Start asking motherfuckers what ring generalship is. And that's what I want to know from y'all, because I've heard so much shit that I had to bring this question up. So y'all let me know what y'all think ring generalship is. I'm very interested to hear this one.